Hi, this is Dina, Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is a kind of a quick month-end close for April. If you've watched my channel this month, you know it was not pretty. But I felt like it was important to do it for two reasons. One, to kind of get key learnings for myself, and also if you find yourself in a similar situation, you can kind of see how I am planning to recover. And then I'm going to go right into my May budget setup. Now, I had hinted that there was going to be a change May 1st, but it's actually going to be June 1st. I only had one of you guess what it was, and so I'm going to just leave that open, and there may or may not be a prize for the person who guesses it correctly. So let's go ahead and take a look at the end of April. So some things continued, which we're eating out. I would say I was a little bit better, but when you look at all the green on here, you're going to say that's not quite accurate. So let's start with groceries. I only had two. I had Walmart for $24 and Sam's Club for $113. So I spent $137. I started the week at $257, so $257 minus $137 is $120. And then for eating out, I was negative $54. And then we did Chipotle for $19, Bambino's for $36, Wendy's for $18. Jersey Mike was actually for my daughter and son-in-law, but I don't really have anything else to pull from. Chick-fil-A for $11. Oh no. Now, we did go out. I did pick up Texas Roadhouse on my way home from work yesterday, but my husband paid for that because I really just didn't have anything left. So I was kind of hoping that my grocery would offset it, but it's not going to. So 54 plus 105. Wow. Negative 159. I don't think I've ever gone over. Spending is done. I actually had $4 left in my wallet, but we'll just call that done. And my mom, there was one expense for $24 at Dunkin' Donuts. This time they actually had donuts, which was great. So 72 minus 24. There's $48 left. Miscellaneous, actually, there was only 20 if you saw my last video. I had taken 80 out to offset some of my overages. I did not spend it, but it is empty. I'll show you what I did at the end of the month. Personal care, I did not spend anything. There was 102 left. Entertainment was empty. Gas, I had one. That was $68. I did up my gas budget for May because I'm driving so much more than I was before. And of course it's got up again. 46. I don't know why I do dollar signs on some and on others. I don't know. Medicine, I actually spent $30, which was my daughter's medicine, but I didn't get paid back, so that's negative 40, and household, no expense. So here's where I had money left over. So 120 in groceries, 48 in my mom, 20 in miscellaneous, 102 in personal care, 46 in gas. So 336 left over. My negatives was 159 and 40 was 199. So net is 336 minus 199 is $137. So what I did at the end of, actually I did it, we got paid on Friday. Today is Sunday that I'm filming this. So I took everything that was left in the wallet, in all my envelopes, and the ones like my groceries, that container, and put that money in my cash stuffing along with my back to bank money. So it's money that I owed myself either on my card or, you know, to offset some of these deficits. So that money just went back into the back to bank, and that became my beginning of my cash stuffing for the month of May. So that is where it ended. Probably one of my worst months of staying on budget that I can remember in a while. I've done damage in my sinking funds, but I've normally been able to kind of control it in my cash envelopes, but not this month. So I've got a plan for month of May, so let's just close that book and move on. And then I did really want to fund my 100 envelope. I am saving the $5,050 that you do if you do all the envelopes, and that is going to be my next vacation fund. That is where I got the money for my vacation fund I have now. We did rent an Airbnb at the beach for a week in July, and that's where I was able to fund that from. So I do absolutely want to fund this, but at this point, this is what I have left: 20, 35, 41. So we're just gonna make the best of this. I did end up making these envelopes. I did use the numbers that I sell in my shop, the 1 through 100. I decided, because I had said I would never do this, but I decided to go ahead and just try it. I did make a second set that I'm still working on. I think I'm going to do it as a giveaway because I will not be selling these in my shop. You know, when I look at the shipping, it's just, you know, this box is $5 and the shipping is like $8. So it really doesn't make sense. I might just do the envelopes and then you can pick up your own box. I got this one at Walmart. But as I'm looking at other, you know, other shops that do it, they do it in the box, but I just can't figure out the shipping, making that, you know, relevant and making it right. Okay, so I did put little tabs at the $10 mark, so 10, 20, 30, like that, just to help me find them. So I figured that I could do 20, 10, 5, and 6, just to kind of get this started. So the first one we're going to do is 20. And then I did this little notch because I wanted to be able to see the money in there. Even though I'm going to use my tracker, I just like the fact that I can see the money so that I can look very quickly and know that that one is filled. This is the $10 one. And I have a few where I actually put the numbers upside down or sideways, so I must have been either really tired or watching TV or something when I was working on that. So there was that. So for $5 and then the $6. I think on a lot of the shops they make them much smaller, which makes sense because you can get more out of a piece of paper, but I just used scraps that I had from making envelopes, so it actually worked out well. It wasn't a huge expense, and then I found some paper that I was going to donate that I went ahead and used for some other ones. So that is that, and I will update my tracker off camera. So rousing start of $26. So let's take a look at May. So I, as usual, have done a mock budget. So I'm going to put that to the side for right now and then kind of walk you through how I set up my budget, because what I have found, the most questions, I get 2 questions that are very common on my channel. So I want to make sure that I'm explaining it well enough so that it makes sense to you if you're starting the budget, or if you've followed along for a while and you're still not understanding the method to my madness. So one is tracking of receipts and transactions. So the ones that I use on my card are simple. I just pull up my app and I date them. So, you know, I know what everything up until the 21st I had already tracked. So from the 21st through the 29th is what I included on my transaction log. And my transaction log is color coded, and that's just how I visually look and know that yellow is fixed, green is eating out. So when I am transferring those transactions onto my calendar page, I know which color checkbox to match to that transaction. The highlighting also helps me know that I've accounted for it. So if it's not highlighted, I probably have not added it to my calendar page and accounted for it. I did have to go on to a second page, or third page really. So I think when I set up May, because May will be a 5-week budget, I definitely will have to do 3 pages for transactions. And then these are my sinking funds. So these are online accounts. This kind of olive green is telling me that I moved money. So for example, in week 1 was a super expensive month or week for me of the month. Wedding, I took $6,100 out of wedding and moved it onto my card because I put the first deposit down on the hotel that my daughter's going to get married in. And so I took $611 out of my general fund for my glasses. So it was a super expensive month. I have almost depleted my general, what I call my general fund, and that's like glasses and dental work, things like that, that I just kind of throw money in and it's one big pot of money. That definitely needs to be a goal of mine as I work through my new budget setup, is to how do I get that built back up again? Because right now it's very sad. The second question that I get a lot is, how do I determine what I'm going to fund? And I really just prioritize it. I have ones that I fund every single month: Christmas, car maintenance, which is really kind of becoming a very confusing category for me, because car maintenance also includes my car registration, which is due in September, my car insurance, which is due in July. We pay the yearly fee, so it's less per year. And then I just found out that I was gonna need tires eventually, so I found out how much that was gonna be, and I started putting extra money into that. So just to give you a little bit of a backstory, for 28 years I had a company car. So in 2020, when I retired the first time, I gave back my car, and my husband and I shared a car. And then in September of 21, my husband bought me a car and we paid cash for it. So it was the first time really in a long time that I needed to worry about car registration, car maintenance, anything like that, because it was always covered by the company. He always maintained his own cars, so you know, when they needed registration or whatever, he just paid it, and it wasn't part of our general budget. It was always money that he had from his incremental income or when he was working. So I really didn't have visibility to it. I'm kind of shocked really on how expensive things are for cars. And my car currently, because it's a new car, it's under a 3-year maintenance. So when I take it in for an oil change or tire rotation right now, it's all covered. So I need to start planning for that when that ends, so that I can have that money set aside. So I was kind of writing down how much an oil change will be for my car. You know, I have a rental with it now. That's part of my maintenance program. I won't have that later on. So just things that I have to be aware of coming in the future, because I haven't had to deal with it before. So that's how I kind of start to look at, when I'm funding them, what is coming at me first that needs to be funded, what can wait a little bit longer, what is nice to have kind of money put away for, but I don't really know when I'm going to need that. So I have my, what I call my really fluid ones. Those are things like date night or household, things like that. I'm totally okay using those and replenishing those funds the next month. Birthdays, I do fund all year long, so that it's $60 a month versus trying to put, you know, find $300 or $400 at that time. So those are the ones that I've learned through, you know, budgeting and the way my brain works, is that I need to know that I'm going to have that money there and not be stressed like, oh my gosh, I have 3 birthdays this month. Where is that money coming from? So those are kind of what I call my longer term sinking funds. I'm prepared to spend that money. I already know the date that I'm going to spend that money. And then what you're going to see in my June budget is some expenses that have not really been on my radar because they've been covered in other areas that now I want to do. So I've already redone my budget sheet. I have what I call annual expenses now that are broken down. I take the expense for the year divided by the 12 months, and then I put in a monthly amount that I need to save, so that when that due date comes up, I have the money set aside. So, you know, I watch a lot of cash stuffing videos, and I think, you know, everybody has a different way to do it. Some people say I put $5 in every single envelope I have, and then eventually accumulates. Sometimes they, you know, will stuff more on what they call a magic month, where you're getting a 3 paycheck, or they take like their YouTube income or their Etsy income and they use that to stuff like different sinking funds. I get paid monthly. My husband gets paid monthly, so there's no magic month. I do have incremental income when I'm working, and I do budget that separately. So you're going to see that in my May budget setup. Okay, so those are all the questions that I wrote down that I wanted to address, and let's go ahead and get started. So for our income, it unfortunately stayed the same. My daughter's going to start repaying her bills in June. And then I estimated for my incremental income, and I'm going to write it down here because it is hourly. So if I don't work or something gets canceled or I get sick or something like that, I am not going to have an income. So I'm just writing the amount of what I think it's going to be down here. And then as the paychecks come in, I've also listed out where I want that money to go. So in my account, like I did for the month of April, I'm actually going to give it a home, which is going to be a lot better. I kind of just used it to rebuild my cushion a little bit, but my cushion is great again. So now for the month of May, and I didn't take a lot of hours because I think we're going to be traveling a little bit. So if you take 4850 plus 4850, 9700 is the total. So my pension check and my husband's pension check. And then as far as our fixed expenses, I did take my mortgage down to my actual payment versus the extra that I was paying on it. So it's $3,032. My HOA is not due this month. My phone is $262, and that has already come. That bill has already come in. My electricity, I am guesstimating at $230, and that's based on my estimated spend so far and how many days left I have for this bill. My water bill has actually come in, and that is $99. It just seems to stay right around that. Southwest Gas has not come in, and I'm not even looking at last year anymore because it's so much more this year. So I'm going to go back with 80, which is about my average. Netflix is 16, HBO Plus is 11, Hulu is 16, DirecTV is 110, life insurance, and that's for my husband and I, is 106. Medical insurance, because we are both semi-retired and not of Medicare age yet, is 1,370. So that just it's tough, but honestly, this is half of what we were paying when we were on Cobra. So I'll take that over what we had been paying. Pest control, I will have service this month, so it'll be $95. My car wash is $25, and I do that because I have a white car and I live in Arizona, so it always looks dirty. So I do the unlimited wash, and I probably wash it once a week, if not twice a week. The gym just went up a little bit. It's $59 for my husband and I, and the internet is $120. So $3,032, $262. Now the next bill that we're going to look to lower is our phone bill. Currently, I have one of my daughters on the bill, and she still owes a little bit for her phone. But she does share in our data plan. So if it's just my husband and I, we do not use that much data because we're always on Wi-Fi. I don't know why she uses so much, but we can probably bring that down to about 120 or 130. So I'm going to encourage her to get on her own plan as soon as her phone is paid off and she can move. And then we're going to start shopping that, because I did this through, I worked and retired from L'Oreal, so I do still get the L'Oreal discount, but the discount doesn't offset how much we're paying that we probably don't need to be paying right now. So my fixed expenses is $5,631.
And then groceries, because it's a 5-week month and I had 137, I think it was, rolled that was left, I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 600. So I do 300 in cash and 300 online. Now I have kind of gone through HelloFresh for the month. I am going to have at least 2 weeks that I know of. Then we're going to be out of town for a week, and then I may go back and do the last week of the month, because I do find that we eat better, we go out less when I do have HelloFresh. I'm off my promotional $10 off my box, so they did go up to $70 from the $60 one, but still, I find that it's just a little bit easier. We're eating healthier, and I'm not spending as much in food and wasting it. So eating out goes to $250 since it's a 5-week month. Spending $250. I kept my mom at $100. She had $72 left. She really doesn't have a big appetite anymore, so just a little treat now and then has been great. Entertainment, I'm going to leave it at $100. Miscellaneous at $100. Personal care at $200. I am getting a massage this month, so that'll be $30 for tip. Still have not gotten my hair cut, and probably will get a pedicure before we travel. And then household, $100. I keep spending this money, but I think I'm done. I've got new bedding for our guest room because we had a guest come in. I got a headboard. So that money seemed to have come in and gone out really quickly over the last 2 months. I don't think there's anything that I need right now. Gas, I have to bring it up to $300 because $250 is not going to be enough. So giving. So this looks very different. I decided to go ahead and tithe off the top and not show it on here. So giving now is more like if I want to help somebody out, and it could be donating to St. Jude, or sometimes people for their birthday will do a donation. Sometimes it's people that I know that are needing money, like a GoFundMe. So I really haven't had that category in my budget where I had kind of a pot of money that I could just give or donate, because it was always my tithe. So I just decided to go ahead and do that off the top, and I kind of do it off of a little bit of my cushion in my account and a little bit of extra income that we have that comes in. So that's one of my changes in my budget. Medicine is $100. Now, I went over last month because of my daughter and my granddaughter, so I don't know why I pick up their medicine and don't get paid back, but that will be a conversation. Sterling Ink, my subscription is $35. Planner Spot is $35. Elements is massage for $80. Audible is $16. Paper Minty Studio, I am not going to do this month. I haven't really been able to use the 2 that I've already purchased, so it's not a subscription where you have to pay it every month. It's just she does a monthly release. So I'm going to skip May. And TM's Coffee Monster Co., same thing. I've already paid for the subscription that ships in June. So ships in July. So in June, I'll pay the $49 for the next one. So that's kind of the way that one works, I believe. I might have to look at that, how it works, because she did it one way and that didn't work out, so she changed it. So I just need to make sure I understand what's going on there. So 300, 250, 250, 100, 100, 100, 200, 100, 300, 100, 300, 100, 35, 35, 80, and 16. So lifestyle is 2,366. Total income is 9,700. So if you look at 9,700 minus my fixed expenses of 5,631 minus 2,366 for lifestyle, that leaves me $1,703. Now, there was a time I used to be able to put $1,000 off the top in my savings. I can't do that anymore and still fund the sinking funds that I need to fund every month. So I'm going to put 500 in savings. So minus 500, that gives me 1,203 to play with in my sinking fund. So just make sure it adds up. 5,631, 2,366, 500, 1,203 is 9,700. So it balances. So then I go over to my sinking funds, and I did already kind of work this out. So I'll show you my worksheet, and this is what I do. So at the end of the month, I go through every one of my envelopes and all of my online accounts, and I put in what my beginning balance is. So that accounts for what I spent and what I need to replenish. So for an example, for Christmas, I'm starting the month at 2,294. I'm going to put 300 in because I put 300 in every month. For the wedding, this looks really weird, but 8,718 is what I started with. I added 20,000, and that was 2 different gifts that we received from my parents' estate. So I just took the money and moved it right over to wedding. Originally, I thought we could do it for 30,000, and we're looking at 45,000. So a very different story. I've already paid 6,100, or actually it's really 6,400. So you can see where I still have about $10,000 that I need to fund that with. But right now I'm feeling very, I'm feeling good about it. Car maintenance, again, my goal was wrong. When I added in what I needed for tires and everything else, it went up. So 4,154 is what I have in there right now. And then I am adding, I didn't even put it on here, 200. I think I put it on, I put it on my other page. And then the things that are in purple are where I want to fund with my incremental income. So when I get that paycheck, I'll put 200 in vacation. I will put, changed. I know I'm going to pay Skillshare this month. It was $99. I canceled it, so they gave me a discount of $35 for the year. And I really do enjoy Skillshare. I just haven't made a lot of time for it. So I went ahead and renewed it at the $35. So I have found with a lot of these subscriptions, if you say, hey, I'm not going to renew it, then they'll come back with a promotion, and you save yourself some money. So all of these purple ones are where I want to put money in for my, with my additional income. So I think I'm going to make 800. So 150 of that will come out in cash to fund envelopes, and 650 will be considered transfers. Well, I'll transfer it into into Capital One or into my credit union. So that's kind of how I'm going to work incremental income right now. So here are the birthday envelopes that I fund almost every month. I am going to fund my nieces and nephews, which I haven't had to fund for a while. Definitely need to fund Liam and Milo because I cleared that one out last month buying food. Date night, I do try to fund all the time. So that's $500 of the 12. So if I had 1,203, so 300 was Christmas, 200 was car, 500 was the envelopes that I had. I might be 200 off here because I might have counted car maintenance on both ones. So okay, so I will look at that when I'm cash stuffing because I did plan for the 500, but I did not plan for 203. So we'll take a look at that. We'll see how this works. But that's where my sinking funds kind of stand right now. And again, sinking funds to me are exactly that. They're for, it's savings, but it's savings I'm planning to spend. My savings account, though, is there as my cushion. It's my emergency fund. I don't want to spend that if I can avoid it. But sinking funds, these are just savings accounts for something I know I'm going to spend. I just want to have the money set aside for that. So here's kind of where I broke it down. So for the incremental income at 800, vacation will get 200, general fund, which is that kind of big pot of money, will get 250, family barbecue will get 50, Sutton, who is my granddaughter, will get 50, household will get 50, gifts will get 100, and medical will get 100. So these two will be online transfers, and this will all be cash. So, well, actually, this is a transfer as well. This is cash. I'm sorry. Transfer, 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 and transfer. This is cash. That's it. So as you can probably tell by this, there was a lot of erasing. I did pull out my purple erasable pen and highlighter and started to put them in purple just so I could visually see right away what I was not funding from the beginning and what I was funding as my paychecks came in. So I will have a paycheck for the next 3 weeks, and then I took the rest of the month off unless she really desperately needs me. And that way I can spend the rest of, I can do a little quick trip out of town, and I can help my daughter as she is preparing to go back to work on the first week of June. So that is the plan for right now. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions at all, or if anything does not make sense to you. And hopefully when I get to the cash stuffing, this is all going to balance, because I'm going to take a look at it as soon as I turn the camera off before I film that one, so I can make sure that I do have the correct amount of money. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing and hit the alert for future videos, and a thumbs up or a comment absolutely helps my channel grow. So thank you, and I appreciate your time. Take care and have a great week.